Hi, my name is Jim Berthold, and today's video is about how to turn on the OLI Debug output. Occasionally in OLI Studio, you'll need to have some debug information to help diagnose what's wrong. Or at least when you're speaking to OLI, you can provide us some diagnostic information. To be effective here, we got to do two things. The first thing we're going to do in this test case here is we're going to turn on the calculation output window. And we're going to do that by clicking somewhere here in the title bar and just clicking this object that says calculation output. And what that does, it opens up a little window at the bottom of the screen. The next thing we're going to do is go into the object of choice here. We're just going to pick this object here. It's a saturate calculation in ScaleChem. Doesn't matter what object it is, but it must be a calculation. It can't be a stream. And we're once again going to right click. And we're going to select calculation options. This will bring up the calculation options dialog, and the box that we're going to check is enable trace. Here, do not click this verbose button. That will create a tremendous amount of output, usually only necessary for OLI text to look at. You feel free to check it. You'll get a lot of numerical information about what's going on with the information with the solver itself, but it's very hard to diagnose without understanding what you're doing. Click OK. We'll just go into the case here. We'll actually go ahead and run it. Here, calculation window runs. There's actually no difference here at all. Okay, you'll see though in the calculation output a trace line came up here. This is actually a hyperlink, and if I go ahead and click it, okay, it will open up a program such as Notepad. Let me shrink it down to something that can fit in a window here. And for this particular case here, it's giving us ScaleChem output, but this is information that we can see here. Okay, let me make the font just a tad smaller here, just so we can fit everything into the screen. Oops, let's go ahead and do that again. Okay, although I've made it very small here, gets the idea. There's a lot of very, very archaic information here, which is not really important. Generally, what we want to do for the single point type of calculation is scroll all the way to the bottom to see what happened. This is very old ElectroChem output. This is the original software from OLI, built back in the 1970s. Very stylized information. If there were any unusual error messages, they would appear here, and we would ask you to send those error messages to OLI for diagnostics. But we do get some more information here that is hard to find in the regular output. For example, we find equilibrium constants here. Now this is an MSE model, so the equilibrium constant looks a little weird, but you can get a lot more thermodynamic data here for this particular point very, very quickly, rather than scrolling through all the individual reports. The interesting part here would be at the end of this report. That's where the error messages show up. They'll let us know what's going on. So that's how to get the debug output. You, of course, can save it as a regular Notepad file and do what you need with it. That's it for this video. Thanks a lot.